Hi, welcome to My Two Bits. My name's Laura Batante. Today we have a fun little panda craft for you, and this is the first one I made. He's very tiny and would be great as a bookmark. They're designed to hang like so. However, I did not include the size for this guy, but I did for this little fellow, and of course you can, as with all of my crafts, size them up or down to suit your needs. So we're going to make this little guy today, perfect for any panda lover. And the first thing you'll want to do is download the template, which is free and in the video's notes. So this is the template for the hanging panda. And then if you happen to be doing a party and you just want to add a few more details, I've given you just a face, and he'll be created in just the same way. I'm not going to show you how to do it, because it literally is just building it up the exact same way that we're going to do with this little guy. And then I've also given you a couple little bamboo shoots. You'll see some, those are leaves actually, and so you'll see that in some of the photos attached to this video. All right, so for materials, as I said, you're going to need the templates, and you will also need some black cardstock and some white cardstock. I have my handy dandy paper clips, which I like to use to hold my template in place while I'm cutting. I have a glue stick, scissors, a black pen if you want to draw a mouth on, or if you're making the larger one, which you probably do want the mouth for. I have some pop dots here. That's to make the little hands and feet stick out a bit. You don't need to have pop dots. You can just take a little piece of cardboard and cut it small and then put glue on both sides. And if you are making a really small one, or you don't really want it, doesn't really need to attach to anything too significant in size, then you could just literally glue just up at the top and leave the bottom unglued, and it would still attach just like so. All right, well, let's start cutting out our pieces. All right, so just before we start cutting out, this particular little guy is not to be cut out. He's just to give you an idea of what he looks like finished. Of course, if you mess up a piece, you could always use a chunk of him, that's fine, but you don't actually need to cut this out. So I just wanted to let you know that, so you don't go cutting everything out. The only thing that you're going to actually need to cut out of white is this, unless you don't have a little hole punch, in which case you'd have to cut a circle out for his eye. But what I did here is I just, once I got these cut out, I just took my regular sized hole punch and cut out the eye holes, and then with my black pen I just drew in his eyes. So we'll cut all of these out of black, and his chest, and then his one piece out of white. And the only thing that you need two of is the eye patch. That's what I'm calling it. I don't know what it's actually called. And yeah, so I'm going to get these all cut out and we'll meet back. All right, so I've cut out all my pieces, and I just want to mention that I cut out my black base very close to the line, and on the white I gave myself just a little bit of space around the outline, because the background is really only to help us with placement. We really needed something that we could build the whole thing off of, so we needed a background. So the only actual parts of the background that we need are the feet and the ears, and then the rest gets covered pretty much. So place your piece on, and if you see some of the black background poking through, just trim it back a little. You don't need it. So what we're going to do is basically place these before we glue them to check it out. Now, again, the reason that this arm is here is just to help us with placement. So this little arm goes right there in the corner, and then he slides down over that. And so if this one is causing a problem, again, just trim that away a little. I think that's going to be okay. This whole piece gets glued down. And I think I'm going to glue this part. Oh no, I better check first, just in case. You can't trim this very well once everything's glued. So then this is his top paw, and it's going to go right there. So I might just take a hair out right there. It's not really crucial though, for sure. I could totally get away with leaving that. That's what it helps when you're building black on black. I know it must be very hard for you to see on the video, but that means it's also very hard for people to see sort of flaws. So, and then that one's going to go on top there. That looks pretty good. And then his little foot's going to go over here. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start putting those down. So we're going to start with the white. And we'll just glue the whole thing. All right, I think I got him trimmed up nicely. Normally I wouldn't sweat it so much, but this little guy does have a photo shoot later today, so he needs to look fairly respectable. All right, so we're going to go ahead and glue that on. Great. Okay, so for the eyes, I cut 2 out like so, and I'm just going to punch my, you can leave this little piece on if you want. I'm going to take my hole punch and punch through. I do it backwards so they kind of shoot up at me, but that way I know I'm getting my placement right. Hopefully. There we go. And then here you do have the PDF template there to use as a reference, or you can just put them where the eyes and nose and stuff where you like. For this guy, his little face is up higher. This is sort of what it looks like on the template. And then when I was making this guy, I put them quite low, and so he has this really big forehead. So you could do whatever you like. There's no set rule. I think he looks cute with a really big forehead, so I'll probably maybe go somewhere in between on this. And again, you can sort of move those around and decide how you like it. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue that on. Okay, so, and again, I'm just going to, what I love about working with the glue stick is that, you know, you have a little bit of time to sort of move stuff around. You want to hopefully get it where you, as close as possible. Whoa, too much glue. As close as possible, because you don't want big marks of glue left behind. But yeah, you can just put it down and give a little tweak. Dries pretty fast, but not so fast that you can't mess around with it a little. That's pretty good. It's being stubborn now. Oh goodness, now I made him crooked. There we go. That's okay, even if he was a little bit crooked, because that just makes it cute. All right, so now we're just going to put on our raised elements. And like I said, you can use either some cardboard that you cut and just glue on both sides. Oh, I'm just going to double check this foot before I attach it. Don't want any bits hanging out behind. I'm just going to give that a little trim. Like that's what happens when you make stuff by hand. You have to make little tweaks and adjustments, but that's okay, because handmade is the best made. Okay, so pop dots, I've tucked those somewhere. These are awesome. I love them. You don't need very big ones because he's pretty light. Just goes like that. And then this little guy. And I use all this stuff here, that not just the circles. I'm just moving quickly right now, but I hack that whole thing up and use the entire thing. You don't have to just use the circles, especially when they cost good money. You don't want to throw all that out. And then, in fact, I might just do that right now for his foot. Why not? A little more awkward to get that piece off. Now, I don't want it to be all the way down to the bottom because this is where he hangs. So I'm putting my pop dots up at the top. And I did that for all of the pieces. I think he goes that way. There. The only thing left to do is to draw on some eyes. And he's done. Well, there they are, all done. This little guy just put the eyes on, and so they are good to go. You can hang them off of all sorts of things. This little guy's got 2 layers of pop dots underneath, so he can hang off of something much thicker, some signage, whatever. And then, like I said, I made this little guy, and he would be super cute as a bookmark. So go ahead and give it a try if you haven't already, and thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on some future projects. Thanks.